I'm more worried about Frank Underwood.
Frank Underwood's going to take me out and throw me in front of a freaking train.
That guy is freaking ruthless.
He's ruthless. He's
you want to talk about
cold-blooded.
playoffs?
Cold-blooded.
Frank's got a playoff mentality.
I'm going to go off Frank Underwood on you. What's up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in MLS. We are here in our beautiful nation's capital. The playoffs are underway. We got the knockout rounds. We have been in Canada. We're here in DC now. Yep. It's been a whirlwind.
How's it been for you? This has been your first playoff experience
so far. It's been so much fun. Really, really fun. Like, kind of crazy, but I'm loving it.
Nice.
Lots to talk about today. So let's talk about the game that happened in DC right here last night. Not a good night for the home team. DC United hosting the Montreal Impact. They end up losing 4-2. At one point in this game, it was 4-0. It was an absolute shellacking. And Kaylin, DC was a team that was probably one of the hottest teams in MLS at the end of this season, and it just kind of came all undone in this game. What went wrong for them?
It happened fast, too. I think people talk a lot about the playoffs, about formations. How do these teams match up tactically? Ben Olsen in the press conference afterwards, speaking to the media, we were in there, and he just talked about a little bit of attitude, a little bit of effort, and being second on plays. They didn't win a lot of loose balls, knockdowns. The physicality of Montreal really disrupted them. But these small plays add up in big ways.
Yep.
And there was the cross from Ayongo, a little bit of miscommunication between Hamid and Boswell. Who's going to clear it? You think it leads to nothing. In the playoffs, that gives a set piece. Then Simon gets the goal. And then later on, Lloyd Sam comes in the attack. He's a little bit slow getting back. They clear the ball. It comes right back down that left-hand side. That's where Montreal is so dangerous. They find Piatti, and he makes a beautiful little pass to Mankosu. Then you're down 2 goals right there. And from there, Montreal, an experienced side, is going to be able to hit you on the break with 2 more.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Montreal, because after the game, you and I were talking, and you said, this Montreal team, they are legit, and we have not talked about them a lot this season, but you made the point, you were like, with or without Drogba, this team is good. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely, and I think it's one of those things where people only talk about the Impact now because of the Drogba drama, right?
Yeah.
But this is a team that's maybe been overlooked over the last couple of years for that same reason, only because of Drogba. But they've got Piatti, they've got Bernier, they've got Simon, they've got Bush, they've got some really nice pieces there, an experienced side. I would be a little bit afraid if I were the Red Bulls, because if they break that first line of pressure, when they get Oduro, when they get Piatti and Mankosu on the break, they can really fly.
Yep. You had a chance to catch up with your boy Patrice.
Yes.
After the game, and he kind of spoke a little bit about the Drogba situation. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I'm a journalist now, so I gotta ask, Didier, where does things stand, and what's that like for the group going through this?
Didier, still cares about the team. He's there. He's in the locker room. He has to deal with on things to get back. But our job was to get this win so that he could be with us in the long haul. Now we're going home, and I'm pretty sure he'll be back with us.
All right, Kaylin, let's take it up north of the border. Little Toronto action. We were there. This was so cool. Okay, so this was their first home playoff game. First home playoff win. They beat the Union 3-1. Union was kind of a team that was like scuffling at the end. Toronto had a bit of momentum, but I have to say, the atmosphere there was absolutely electric.
Hey, you were fired up for that goal call, too.
I was so fired up. I mean, well, you had the fans behind us just like going absolutely
And
nuts.
you're kind of a celebrity, I realized. We're always in the studio, but you were getting recognized by everybody,
it's true.
Taking selfies with the crowd.
Listen, we're big time. We're big time.
I think one of us is big time.
Okay, but let's talk about the game a little bit. Obviously, like Toronto, you look at the guys like Josie Altidore, Sebastian Giovinco, and these are the names that they need to have big games, and they lived up to every expectation.
Michael Bradley, don't forget him.
Yeah.
But I think the role players on this team have been fantastic as well. The back line is really solid. Drew Moore, a name that people within the league, if you're a player, that's a guy you respect because he's a winner. But when you have your star power going, Josie, Giovinco, when you see them firing, there's really not much you can do to stop them.
Yeah.
And especially when the 2 of them are going. We've seen them maybe one or the other at a time. But the 2 of them together were so dynamic on the night.
Well, before we left Toronto, we had a chance to catch up with 2 of the unsung heroes.
That's right, the local boy,
Jonathan Osorio scored a nice little goal, and goalkeeper Clint Irwin, and they talked a little bit about the tall task at hand of facing some of the bigger names at NYCFC.
they're fairly a new squad still. We have been together for a long time, for I guess 2 more years now, and this core has built a really good chemistry. So I think we have that going for us. So we might have a little bit more chemistry than them, and we have a taste of the playoffs already. So 2 years in a row, and this is their first time. So hopefully we'll use that experience against them.
We're going to be prepared for whatever they throw at us. They're a high-scoring team. We've seen that. They like to score a lot of goals, but over 2 legs, I think we've got a good chance. We've got our own guys who can outscore the opponent. But I think it will come down to who can keep the other team off the score sheet, and I feel like we're in a good position to do that.
All right, let's take it out to LA, where the Galaxy took on RSL. And, LA, town full of stars, got some big names on that roster, Landon Donovan, Robbie Keane. But on the day, it was Emmanuel Boateng. And Kalen, I got to give you some mad props here, because you have been high on this guy all season long, and he had 2 goals and looked like he is in top form. Talk a little bit about his play.
On decision day, I'm sitting on the couch next to Siggy Schmidt and talking about Boateng, and he's a guy that Siggy had seen from Santa Barbara. I'd been hearing about for a long time, Ghanaian right to dream guy, but he gives them something different. He's so direct. He's got the pace to stretch the field. They were able to get on the flanks and dangerous throughout the match. But he's got this nice little shiftiness to him. He's got great technique, dices his way through the box, great finish. I actually think it's some of these role players, we talked about Osorio on Toronto, Boateng in LA, while the big stars have to do well, you need someone else to step up, and he did in a big way.
Speaking of stepping up, Alan Gordon, a huge game for him. He had the 2 assists to go with that goal, and after the game, he spoke about their next opponent, the Colorado Rapids.
It's going to be really difficult. I think they were, in my opinion, I think they were the best team in the league this season. They're willing to fight. They're a good, solid team. They got a lot of good players, and so we're going to have our A game.
Well, the knockout rounds culminated with a big game out in Seattle between the Sounders and Sporting KC, and this one had a little bit of drama in it.
It's not the playoffs without a little
chippy.
spice.
We had some offside calls that weren't made, and maybe some that should have been made, and maybe a potential red card could have been thrown in there. They kind of delivered on all levels. But let's talk about the Nelson Valdez goal. Everybody's talking about it, Kalen.
He's offsides, for sure.
Okay.
The Kansas City one, though, as well. Probably offsides on Beasler as well. So I do think there's a lot to talk about in the officiating in this game. But 2 teams battling at it, going for it. You got to give Stephen Fry a huge shout, because he
had a monster game.
Kept them in this game for long stretches. Benny Feilhaber had an excellent day. We should give him some props, because the way he handled the media afterward, I thought was genius. He just came out. You can't find him for that, right?
Nope.
He
Can't find sarcasm.
He just kind of said that the referees got everything right and he was wrong, and got his point across in a way that I found to be funny.
I mean, and I think we have to give credit to Seattle, who, in July, were pretty much left for dead by everybody. Nobody expected them to be in this position, yet here they are. And an unlikely hero, right, in Nelson Valdez. Okay, whether or not he was offside obviously is up for debate, but when he scored that goal, the emotion that came from that guy, I mean, he was weeping on the field. That is not something you see, and it just, I thought it was actually kind of a cool moment.
Yeah, I think he understands that he maybe hasn't lived up to the billing so far. He doesn't have a goal all season until this. Only 900 minutes of play, but I think he understands that they've brought him in to play a role, that he feels the weight of that failed expectation. So when he scored, he's able to show that he cares. I've played with guys who have maybe come from other countries and come into the team and haven't lived up to expectations, and sometimes you feel like, do they care at all? So it's kind of cool, just as a former player, to see, this guy gets it, he understands, and he wants to do his part to help this team go forward. As a player, I also feel bad for the Sporting guys, because they feel like they've put a ton into the game and it's over for them. So I understand why people are making a lot out of this call situation, but it is a part of the game. These referees are under a ton of pressure, making split-second decisions. So I think you have to give them the benefit of the doubt as well.
All right, Kalen, it's time for our favorite part of the show.
We're going to the White House.
No!
Oh.
Did you see that?
I want to go see Barack.
Did you see that? Your boy Barack?
Oh yeah, my boy Barack.
Well, let's
did you see that?
Yeah.
Mine is Javinko dancing. I feel kind of bad because he did it on my boy Warren Craval. Warren, I'm sorry, man, but he did get you on this one. Warren had a good game, but yeah, he did get that little dirty split the
Slick.
two. I like it. What was yours?
Slick. Mine was one of your snaps, actually.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, at the halftime during the
I was
DC
wondering if you
United
were
Montreal
following.
Impact. I follow you. Come on now. The bubble soccer. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It was the fun. I could not stop laughing. These people were just falling over.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
That got
so
physical.
good. It got really physical.
Yeah.
I think we should do it. I think we got to give that a try.
Okay, we'll do that
at
next
some
city.
point.
Where are we going next?
We're going to Montreal.
Oh,
Je parle
wow.
français, et tu?
I have no idea what she's talking about right now. But we are vlogging our thing, so
Yes,
be
you guys,
up on that.
we've been getting some little behind the scenes action
Yeah.
that we're gonna put together and show you a little insider look
Yes.
into the playoff experience.
Come say what's up to us in Montreal, all my movement, Montreal fans. That's where we started, so it's going to be nice to come back for the playoffs. I'm bringing the good luck.
You are.
Even though I saw Jesse Marsh too, so the Red Bulls, it's going to be a good game.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So just a reminder, you can watch all of these games on Sunday. Montreal taking on the New York Red Bulls. That game is at 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. LA, Colorado at 5 p.m. on ESPN. Then Toronto versus NYCFC, 7 p.m. Eastern on FS1, and it all culminates with Seattle taking on Dallas. That game is at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, also on FS1. Whew!
Playoffs.
Playoffs,
on
baby.
the road this
It's
weekend.
gonna be
MLS.
so
This is
good.
fun.
Guys, we gotta get ready for our trip to Montreal, but just want to thank y'all for watching. Oh, and a shout out to Dave, that worker at RFK.
Yes.
He's a big fan of the show. We appreciate you. Thanks for saying hello. Guys, keep watching and stay tuned to MLSsoccer.com for all your playoff coverage. We'll see you in Montreal.